Hi everyone. I'm going to just try to summarize or give you an overview of what we have achieved in GenTORE Project Work Package 4 Task 1. It's going to be an overview of what Anna and Yuli did over the past 3 years. The idea was to evaluate crossbred animals in this task within a multi-breed context. But of course, when it comes to evaluate crossbred animals, there are some practical solutions. The easiest thing you can do is that you can just get SNP solutions from routine evaluations. And then you can compute sort of like breed-specific breeding values. And then you can weight these breeding values based on the breed proportions of animals. So the genomic estimated breeding value is a weighted average of breed-specific breeding values. But you can see that the accuracies from these simple solution, they are barely higher than just the simple parent average, at least for some traits. If we look at the genome of crossbred animals, if it's not an F1 animal, it's of course the assumption that the genomic breed proportion is the same over the breed proportion is the same over the genome doesn't hold, and the rest three you can see that they all have the same breed proportions, but as the admixture increases, then the breed proportions actually changes over the genome of these individuals, and then the simple method you expect not to work very well. And another thing is that actually when you use these simple methods, then you don't use crossbred data, which may be available at higher quantities in the next years or in the coming years. And then you actually also do not use information from other breeds, which is particularly important if you have a small breed where you don't have the chance to get high accuracies of SNP effect estimate. And then Jon came up with less practical but potentially a more accurate method where he actually looks at individual locus to weight these say SNP effects. So he's not considering a global breed proportion, but he's looking for each allele for which the weight can be only 0 and 1. And of course, this method also do not use any crossbred data, and you cannot really use information from other breeds to improve the accuracies of your breed-specific SNP effects. And he showed that this method can lead slightly higher accuracies than the one I showed a few slides back with just the overall breed proportion weighting way. But of course, the accuracies, they were only slightly higher. And then we came up in GenTORE with not so practical, but potentially much more accurate way, where you use information from all the pure breeds and all the crossbred animals. And this way we, like Jon did, we consider allele-specific weights, but in addition we could use crossbred data in genomic predictions, which could help not only to increase the accuracies in crossbred animals, but also the accuracies in different pure breeds. And also we extended it such that it can use information between the breeds so that we could use correlations between SNP effects different breeds, not only at the genome scale, but also at local segments of the genome. And I apply this to Nordic red dairy cattle, where we didn't observe any improvement. The reasons of this you can see if you just go and check the paper. It was discussed there. But at least the method we developed did not harm the accuracies. So in the current practice, you just combine all data and you assume that SNP effects are the same. You can see that our method was not any worse or any better than that. And then Anna did more work looking at if the method is applicable in other situations, as in this Irish beef breed or data example. She compared basically the two existing methods, the Van Reyden method, which is basically just weighting the whole genome with the same value, and Ion's method, where you look for each locus to do the weighting. So you can see that the improvement with Ion's method over the Van Reyden method is still marginal, as we have seen in Ion's paper. But when we could add crossbred data with the GenTORE model, then we could increase, depending on how many crossbred animals we add in the data, we could increase like 30-35% the accuracies. I'm not going in more detail because there will be a talk from Anna in the World Conference, but we sort of proved that the method not only works in theory but also works in practice. I said it's not so practical, but we had to come up with a practical solution. So Yuli did some work on using still SNP solutions from the separate purebred evaluations, but combining these with also the data from Crossbred. But basically, if you look at the model in detail, you can just use any combination of data like purebreds, crossbreds, whatever. So we also came up with a practical solution. But if you want to know more about these studies, they're going to be presented in these sessions by Anna and Yuli this week in the conference. Thank you.